Hey, you guys, it's John and Rachel. We're back. We're so excited to be here at the Federal Galley. We have wanted to come here for a long time. And listen, the biggest deal is the fact that they have our YaJagoff beer. So that's why we were joking like earlier in the week, like if you have our beer, we come. Like that's just what we do. We're like, hey, we're coming to your place because you carry our beer. So there's some added perk, I guess. But we're so glad that it's a rainy day because that means you will watch the behind the scenes of the YaJagoff podcast at the amazing Federal Galley. If you have not been here, you need to come. It's crazy that there's so much happening. Like, I couldn't believe walking in at 11:30 to set up, like, how crazy it is. Yeah.
Right.
So, in case you forget, make sure that you listen to the podcast either on Monday on Odyssey's app or on YaJagoff.com on Tuesday. Would be happy for you to listen. And now John's here.
Right. So let's roll.
You want to go?
Do it.
Want me to read?
Do it.
All right, this is basically how we start the YaJagoff podcast in case you forget. So, Rorick Honda is known as #1 for so many reasons, but the Civic, the Passport, and the Odyssey won best for residual value in 2022. Everyone has their Honda preference, so make sure that you go to a Rorick Honda representative to learn which ride best suits your journey. And John, as always,
go to Rorick.com for all of your vehicle needs. And now we start the YaJagoff podcast for this week from the Federal Galley, and I got through it because all day long I kept saying the Federal Gallery.
Do you see? He bosses me around and then he gets things wrong.
All right.
So
this is the YaJagoff podcast. If you're listening for the very first time, we appreciate that you would go to iTunes or wherever you pick up your podcast and subscribe. If you're on iTunes, we would appreciate you say something nice about what we're doing here, and don't forget that you can hear us on Star 100.7. every Monday through Friday at 4:55 with Kelly for the talk of the town. And then on Y108 Wide Awake Morning Show, it's 7:10 every Friday. We are up that early and for the YaJagoff of the week. And then, of course, Elista, we park the chairs. We always say, where are we parking the chair? And it's just like fun, cool things to do in Pittsburgh. So any reason we can boast about Pittsburgh, we're in. That's it.
Who was the YaJagoff of the week this week?
The YaJagoff of the week was this. Listen, shopping carts are my thing. And if you can't, we're so lazy that the grocery stores pay people to park our grocery carts for us and collect them, right?
So bad,
and
yeah.
There's a corral where you put your grocery cart. So whether you're a pusher or a walker, put it in the corral. We had a picture of someone who put the cart on the other side of the corral. It's literally 5 feet away.
It's 5 feet.
And it's be more considerate
of the
people that are working.
The other one that got a ton of traction was John took a picture of somebody who actually put chicken on a shelf. Like they were that lazy to not put their food back in the produce section or in the meat section.
Actually, that came from Kristen from Y108.
Oh, yeah.
There's chicken laying in the shelf of Mentos. Right.
Who does that? I think it's just I feel like we have crappy drivers, but that to me is like the worst thing.
It's just you're not even nice, courteous to the people that work at the grocery store. Anyways.
Would you like some show notes?
Yeah, but here's the thing is April 23rd is coming up quick, and we want you all to meet us at the Robinson Mall because on April 23rd, everybody knows that in Pittsburgh you don't have a picnic without a strawberry jello pretzel salad. And April 23rd is
Were you going to say February?
Yeah, National Picnic Day.
Yeah.
And so we're starting off National Picnic Day with a strawberry jello pretzel salad throwdown, as you called it.
Standoff.
Corrected.
Red penned, yeah. So we're excited because we're pairing up different nonprofits with different confectionery places and bakeries and things like that, and they're telling us their take on it. And it's all been so different. Aunt Annie's Pretzels showed a picture, so you have to go look at that.
And Mary Mac Bakehouse showed a picture.
Yeah,
so
did.
These confectionery places are partnered with nonprofits. If you vote, whatever nonprofit wins the taste testing, the throwdown, then they will get $500, $250 from KB Plumbing, $250 from the mall at Robinson.
It's an easy way to score
and you'll go
money.
home with happy belly.
Yes,
it's free.
There you go.
It's free.
All right, we're talking to our friends. They're sort of our friends. I mean, they are our friends because they have our beer. Once again, we're fast friends if that happens.
Right.
We love it. So we're so happy to see how Nova Place, like we said, is bustling. You literally who hasn't been here, especially in the summertime, for the outdoor things?
If you're an expat Yinzer listening to the podcast,
Yes, it
it's
used to
Allegheny
be.
Center Mall where you used to do your school shopping at Sears.
Or was it Sears or Zayres?
Sears.
Do
was
you know?
here.
You're both too
Sears.
young. I
Listen,
sort of hate
was a
you.
school shopper. Sears.
It was Sears?
Sears.
Okay. Well, Gimbals was here years and years ago. Do you remember that?
I do
But now
remember
it's
that.
obviously completely transformed. We get to talk to two of our new favorite people, Chad and Nick. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah. Talk to us a little bit, Chad. What do people, like right now, I don't know why it surprises me. I guess because of the temperature of Pittsburgh, right? We never know if people are ready to go out, do things again.
Yeah.
It is so bustling right now for your brunch on a Saturday. This is great.
Saturday brunch, Sunday brunch is where it's at.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter the weather. So even today with the options of the food, right? It's a
Yeah.
great place for families. There's a lot of big groups in here, big tables. It's an easy atmosphere.
Yeah.
It's really about sharing the experience
Yeah.
of the space and for the guests.
And so for people who have not been here, in all seriousness, because everybody in Pittsburgh has that bucket list, you know, and we still don't cross bridges. It's crazy.
Yes.
You know, if we live on the north, we're like, what's going on in the south? But if you've not come over to this part of town, for whatever your reason is, construction, whatever, this has been here for how many years now?
Almost 5 years now.
5.
Yeah.
I was going to say 3, so there you go.
Yeah.
It's really cool the way it's set up because they're long tables, like you said. It's really meant for groups.
Yep.
But do you get people during the week that are like just coming in for lunch and they're like, I want to sit in my own little corner?
Yeah, you definitely have a lot of people who try to sneak off to the corner, sneak off to where it's quiet. A lot of people still are trying to have business luncheons or, you know, private luncheons, but once it fills up, people just kind of figure it out and fill in the empty gaps and
Right.
make it work. So
Right.
It's kind of like the ultimate food court because it's not fast food. It's all food from scratch, I guess.
Yeah,
in
very
the
much.
non-chef terms. And you can come here and there's a bar that's in the central area. So and it's easy to park here because again, you just kind of pull up downstairs and pick elevator number 12, I think it was.
We picked the wrong one.
Yeah.
We walked.
And you come up here, but you can bring your kids, you can bring your family, and somebody can get chicken, somebody can get pizza, somebody can get whatever. So, Chad, is this more of like a a restaurant incubator, would you say?
yeah, we've definitely over the years have grown more into an incubator where we want people's concepts that they're trying to launch or people who have existing concepts that are trying to launch a second concept or a second location to give the community a different experience and show what you're offering, right? Most of the people now have a lot more experience when they come in, and so we're more so giving them that opportunity to be here and develop the concept and see what the people are interested in and see what the people are looking for. Because of the nature of the small spaces, they can adapt quickly if they see that the guests are looking for one thing over the other.
And it is crazy because you can see like people, I love that you called it the ultimate food court because it is, and it's so much better than that because they are sitting together, they're going up, they're trying different things, and you can kind of look around and say, ooh, maybe I'll try. And you're right, it does create the better relationship that way than putting all your eggs in one basket, going to open, I mean, unfortunately, look at the state of how many people have had to close due to things, whereas something like this, you're really trial and error, right?
Exactly. And we have such great partners with the kitchens and great
Yes.
partners with the building itself. So surviving COVID and getting through all of that was, you know, possible because of those partnerships.
Yeah, that's exactly
So, Chad,
right.
is it your role as the CEO to let people know that things aren't going well on their end, or they just know
That's
from
a
the
good question,
Yeah.
yeah.
from the simple math?
Yeah.
Do you have to say, or
Are
do
you the bad guy?
or do you go in and say, hey, your pizza's selling, but you could sell more if you do this? Do you give them
Yeah, we
advice?
definitely do that. We look at their sales. We look at eating their food. We get the guest feedback. We work directly with them, and you know, we provide our feedback and hope that they take it right. But they don't always have to listen to us. So it's part of the process, and that's part of that incubating and learning process for the new chefs of like, well, if I am running my own business, how would I adapt to increase my sales or provide a better quality product or whatever the case might be. So
Do you also advise them even on supplies, like how to order more efficiently and things like that?
sometimes it really depends on the chefs and like
I see.
what their experience is, but we definitely give an idea of this is what other people have done, this is what we've seen work, this is what we've seen haven't worked, and you know, try to be as connected with them as possible, especially in the beginning. And then
Right, I was going to say,
once stuff's going and if they look like they got it down, we pretty much, you know, just touch base and check
Sure.
in. But if they're doing what they need to do, then that's the idea. It's their kitchen, their restaurant.
Right. Introduce us to the person to your left.
So next to me we have Nick from Shaka here at Federal Galley. And Nick and Wa have been with us for many years.
Yeah, almost 5 years. Almost 5 years now.
Yeah.
Wow,
And they
so close to the beginning.
they started at Smallman Galley.
Oh, that's right. I did
Yeah.
know that.
Yeah,
Okay.
We did Vietnamese-driven Asian fusion in the Smallman Galley and had a lot of success. So we got the opportunity to do Shaka, which is Hawaiian-driven Asian fusion here at Federal Galley, and it's been a tremendous opportunity for us.
So, Nick, you're like the guy who dates the girl for 10 years and never gets engaged, right? or gets engaged and never married. You're here, you're just like, hey, I like this, but I can't imagine why you wouldn't like this place. It's really
It is
home.
a tremendous opportunity. You have an opportunity to reach so many customers that if you open a hole-in-the-wall restaurant,
Right.
you wouldn't have that type of
That's
exposure.
what I was saying. Yeah, yeah.
It's funny that you say that
It's
because
not
I've been
funny. Who
engaged
says
for a
that?
really long time. So I thought somebody was sliding my secrets over to you ahead of time.
Listen, don't give him credit for crap like that. Like, I'm sitting there thinking, like, where is he going with this question? And does he
Like,
know
Chad,
something?
what did you tell this guy about me?
That's hysterical. In all seriousness, and we often will have Halby Klein on from Pittsburgh Magazine to tell us about, what are the new, restaurant needs? Like, what don't we have here? Like, what are we lacking? Because we always say Pittsburgh went from a coal town to a foodie town. Like, who would have thought? Is there much direct competition for Hawaiian inspired, or have you sort of cornered that market?
I think that there is some competition. A lot of places are putting poke bowls and things
Sure.
like that on their menus. But as far as what we're offering, it's truly unique.
Yeah.
We are borrowing from a lot of different Asian cuisines. So you're going to find more Hawaiian Japanese fusion, some Korean, some Chinese. We are sprinkling it all in. We're borrowing the best
Yeah.
to serve truly unique dishes.
That's awesome.
And Nick, how did you come to, did you previously, is that your heritage somehow, or is that just a hole in the market that you identified as a chef?
It was just we identified the gap in the market.
Okay.
We went to Hawaii and did research and development.
Well,
Oh,
and
that
we-
was tough. I hate when I
It
have to
was
go
a
to
terrible
Hawaii.
business trip. And we had a lot of fun doing that. The most fun I had in R&D in my entire life.
Yeah.
What is something you learned from there that you didn't think you would, in all seriousness?
Just how simple good Hawaiian food can be.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
They focus on the freshness, they focus on the ingredients, and I thought we were going to have to be a lot more complicated to
Sure.
deliver good Hawaiian food, and it's the simplistic nature of it is what makes it so delicious.
Please don't say you have Spam on the menu, because that's you do.
We sure do.
You do.
up.
You can't have a Hawaiian breakfast without Spam,
That's
right?
right. So
Oh,
we
I
have,
hate Spam.
We have two different preparations. So we have the Spam Misubi, which is almost like a Spam piece of sushi. It's wrapped in seaweed on rice, and then we do a deconstructed Spam Misubi rice bowl that has all the classic elements, but it's deconstructed into a rice bowl, and we pay homage to the traditional Spam obsession that they have in Hawaii.
And look at, you're like, it's true. Like,
Yeah,
you're
it
so
is.
proud.
And I was just in Hawaii last year, and I saw Spam everywhere. So
Does that surprise you, though?
It does surprise me.
Yeah.
Keep it locked up like
Yeah.
fine
Yes.
wine there
Yeah.
because people try to steal it.
I
Right.
did not know that.
And in this sense, it's much better than what you're used to. I remember having to eat it as a kid, and you hated it, right? But in this style, it's 100 times better.
You
Am I a
hated it.
terrible parent that I would take my kids to my dad and my mom's, to their grandparents, because they couldn't wait to go have a Spam sandwich with their grandfather. I feel like a terrible, but no, that it's high-end cuisine out there. It's standard
Sure
cuisine.
is, and they have a significant number of varieties of Spam there that you would never even believe.
Wow.
Yeah, here you can only get one kind. but
What?
over
Yeah,
there they have-
right. In the canned, like looking at it makes me. I can't. I will. I am gonna try it just because I've heard nothing but amazing things.
Yeah.
What is the go-to thing? Like people, if they're trying for the first time, that people go, "Oh, have this."
Well, depending on the mood you're in, on a cold, dreary day like this, people are definitely gravitating towards our ramen noodle soups.
Oh wow.
We do our tonkatsu ramen is probably our #1 seller on that side. On a hot day, when you're in the mood for something cooler and more refreshing, people are gravitating towards our poke bowls.
Okay.
That are based with a raw fish. So
That sounds
sashimi
great.
grade tuna, our truffle tuna poke. If you like truffles, you will love the truffle tuna poke.
We're eating
man.
here. Just
He looked me
FYI.
right in the
He
eye.
did. He was
He
staring
looked
at
me
you.
right in the eye. I was like, hey, I'm on it.
I love it. Bounce back over to Chad. So when will the patio be open?
Great.
Soon,
So,
right?
Yeah, very soon. Next
Okay.
Friday, the 22nd, we're having a patio barbecue party.
Oh, with our
So
friend
Byron Nash will
Byron
be
Nash.
performing outside.
What?
That was a hopeless plug, right?
Yeah,
Just
right.
Kinda split that in.
Provision will be serving barbecue outside, so we'll be grilling and serving, more traditional kind of barbecue style food out there.
Okay.
So you can find tickets on our Instagram and on our website
you
for
have to
that.
buy tickets.
You don't have to buy tickets, but part of the tickets as well, you get a 4-pack of our Galley Hayes beer that we partnered with East End on. So it's kind of the launch of the cans as well.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Nice.
I love it.
All right. So
And if you're not drinking that, drink our beer. I mean, how many
YaJagoff
times am I going to
is
say
right.
that,
Right.
Chad?
Yeah, right.
What
All
else
right.
is going on that we can look forward to?
Yeah, and then also on the 25th, we have a pizza party with Two Frays and Driven. So it'll be here on a Monday. It's a private event. You can buy tickets for that. And it includes, all-you-can-eat pizza, some appetizers, beer pairings. It's a really great thing. So
That's
we're trying
awesome.
to do some of those unique events, one-off events on Mondays, especially when we're closed and, have the space to ourselves.
That's
I'm just
awesome.
going to bring my sleeping bag.
you're
and
not
eat
going to get rid of John.
poke bowls
And pizza.
one day and then just wake up and all right.
I know.
Sorry. So before we go, we let you guys go. Where does everybody find you guys online?
Yep. So federalgalley.org is our website. At Federal Galley is our Instagram and Facebook handles. Instagram,
it's easy.
Yeah, Instagram is our biggest platform that we use.
Okay,
Well,
cool.
we drool over it.
You can find us through the Federal Galley website to order. We're also at Shaka PGH on Instagram.
Shaka, laka, shaka. All right. So listen, our intern Paige comes up with our amazing question of the day. And tomorrow is her birthday, so happy birthday to Paige.
Happy birthday.
Right? So how do you guys, what's your particular, if it's somebody special, birthday, right? Your parent, your significant other, whatever. What is that thing that you guys do that's different? Each of you answer. For us, my family, we literally buy latex balloons and we blow them up for my kids are 19, 15, and 13. They still get the blown up balloons taped to their room. But that's our thing. What's yours?
We definitely like to host surprise parties or regular parties at our house. And no matter what your gender representation, it's always a pink unicorn, pink balloons,
Doesn't matter.
as pink as it can get, no matter what. So,
I love it.
yeah.
I like that. How about you, Nick?
We do the hot pot. My fiance is Vietnamese, and that's her family tradition.
And what's that?
And what is that?
It's where you take a hot broth and you cook the food right at the table. So
I want to be engaged to your person.
yeah, so it's very fun. It's festive. It's interactive.
Wow.
So for the entire family.
What
Well,
a great custom.
Listen, so can
That
we
beats
hire
the
him
pink
for
unicorn.
my birthday? Can
True.
we hire him for my birthday?
Yes.
All right.
Yes,
All right.
John has a milestone birthday. We need to talk about that.
There you go.
It's 40.
All right.
Yeah. Thank
All
you
right.
guys so
Thank
much
you
for
guys
having
so
us.
Yeah,
We
thank
Thank
you.
you very much.
Appreciate you
Thanks
coming.
for hosting us.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
All right, so we are listening
We're going
to
to eat, and we got to go.
Right. We're going to listen to Byron Nash, who is going to be part of the Deutschtown
You may have
Music
heard of
Festival.
Byron, yeah.
Right, he's been on the podcast. All right. You guys are free to go. Thank you so much. And we'll interview Val and Paige. I don't know if you want to turn that around a little bit. All right, Val. Are you
All
good
right,
staying
Val.
right we are, or are you good? Would you like to socially distance?
Yeah, if you want to move, you can,
fine.
but I think
Yep,
we're
I'm
good.
Because we're. Yeah.
I'm totally good.
Awesome. It is so good to see you. Do not
good to
be
see you.
nervous.
Okay.
Look, they did a great. It's that
They
easy.
were so natural.
Right. They were easy. So I love telling stories on why guests are here. And so this is one of my sort of like, I don't know, I wouldn't say I stalked Val, but a little bit, because our history was when I worked at Markowitz Communications, she was one of my first clients that we had to get on PTL to talk about her amazing art, right? John knows that I've talked about this because then when you were in Pittsburgh kind of like really doing your thing, we were going to work together, and then you got so big that it was like, I'm opening my store, I'm this, I'm that. Now you're back at home still doing what you love, like carrying through. So the message here is you can take your passion and literally do it no matter where, no matter what, just kind of evolve with the times. Is that right?
Absolutely. It has been quite the journey, I would say, in business, in entrepreneurship, as an artist. I just feel like with the time, I mean, I started in 2012.
Yes.
And so 10 years later, there have been many iterations, I guess, of Lily and Val.
Lily and Val. I didn't even say it. I was waiting for you to say it. I was like, I should have introduced it, that it's the Lily and Val. Like, cue the confetti, right? But yeah, wow, 10 years. Where did that time go?
I know.
So what was like, we were talking ahead of time, like what was the first thing you did that you were talking about, you had on Instagram, etc.? And where are you now? Because it's definitely changed or grown, right?
So where I started was with chalk art.
Yeah.
I mean, just as simple as white chalk on a chalkboard, and it was a complete hobby, and it just kind of took off. It started kind of accidentally.
Right.
And then that led to the complete book of chalk lettering, and I think that's around the time when we met with around the book. And yeah, just developed, that grew. My style sort of evolved and changed from there with just different types of hand lettering, illustration. But I think really the biggest thing is maybe just myself internally as an artist, the things that became important to me, just thinking about slowing down, thinking about
your family.
Family, absolutely. Giving people just artwork that can uplift them and encourage them. And so it's kind of developed into that, where just taking a step back, slowing down, thinking about what do I want my life to look like. And yeah.
Well, you're right. As you grow, or as you age, really, you start to take little pieces from different things and go, okay, wait a second. I don't have to work 24 hours a day to kind of be where I need to be. Having a family is important to me, or I'm not willing to give up being an artist. So how do I get that balance? Right?
Absolutely. That's exactly it. And I think that comparison plays a lot. A role in that, where you think that, well, to be an artist, I have to be this thing, and then this is the natural next step, or to grow a business even. But there really are no rules. There's like
no rules.
We can make our own rules as business owners, as artists, of just what fills you up and what puts you in a good place.
Right.
And then I think that spills over to everything that you create and your art and all of that.
Sure.
So it's a journey of finding what feels right and what works, and I've definitely made a lot of mistakes in finding that.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So Val, what, as an artist, I always think of like doctors, lawyers, they all do this. They come out and they are what they are, so an artist is what they are. And then what's the hardest business side you had to learn? Like accounting, budgeting, marketing?
That's a good
because
question,
when you come out as a doctor, you hang a shingle on your office. An attorney, as an artist, you have your product, but you have to learn all of the business aspects. Unless you're a millionaire and can kind of hire everybody to do that. What was the hardest business aspect you had to learn?
Sure. Oh my goodness. There have been so many. I am really, really fortunate in that my husband has been my business partner. And that was really early on when Lily and Val took off. So I have had help in that, where he really took on a lot of the business side and allowed me to create. I know that's not everybody's circumstance.
Sure.
I am so fortunate in that. But I would say probably the product manufacturing side of things was the biggest thing to learn. Placing inventory orders. We've definitely, for a few products that we really wanted to make, we had to go overseas. All of that is just a whole new world. The world of licensing, that's another. It's just kind of learning all of these new new worlds constantly.
Well, and I was going to say, I think that was a really good question because I've been a fan since the beginning. You know, it's one of those things like because we worked with you on PR, I wanted to see like, okay, well, what's next? But then I became a fan and started ordering like Christmas gifts, you know, and things like that. What I love about it is you've stayed in touch with the times in the sense that you started out with, say, like the notebooks you used to do. And I saw you're discontinuing some of the stationery because let's face it, people don't write notes anymore.
Yeah.
It makes me sad, but it's a dying breed. But maybe because that's going away, something else is coming up, right?
That's absolutely it. It's making those tough decisions.
Yes.
I was so sad to say goodbye to those
by your
cards.
email.
Yes.
Yeah.
But absolutely, it's almost like learning to say no to good things so that you can say yes to great things and better things and, you know, continue to change and evolve.
Yeah.
That's a great phrase, actually.
It is.
Because I remember, you know, Jack Welch back in my college days, he ran, you know, GE, and they always had to say, you had to get rid of your the lowest 20% of your staff. Like, that meant they could still be record breakers, but if they weren't in the 80%, you had to get rid of the 20%. And so that, I love that phrase that you just used because you don't want to get rid of the things that brought you to where you are, but in the meantime, your mind time and your labor time is all going to be occupied on these things where you could move on to get something even. I love that phrase.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've definitely been in a place in the past, and of course being younger is part of that, where it's like, let's do all the things. Let's just do it all. If there's an opportunity, yes, we're going to do it. I want to make more product. Want to do this, open the brick and mortar store, everything. And it's just gotten to this point now where I'm like, you know what, I know myself better. I'm comfortable in my own skin as an artist and thinking like, no, I want to really hone in and be able to do what brings me joy.
Right.
And yeah.
So for people who don't know, go
Oh,
ahead.
yeah, no,
I was
you're
going to
about to
say,
ask
like,
the
for
same
people who
question.
don't know, like, first of all, I have to point out, I love the fact that it's true. It's trial and error. Even when people say to us, like, oh, you know, how has your success grown? Like, John and I partnered right after I left Markowitz. And, you know, we now have 20-some marketing clients, which we love doing that. But we're not going to give up the podcast because that's a part of it. And we always say, if somebody can't get their story in the Post-Gazette, we may not have the same following, but we can get it out in a different way. So you sort of like rebirth and you trial and error and you say, okay, this works, this doesn't. But for people, you know, who aren't following you, talk about what that looked like. That was where my question was going, right? So you had the brick and mortar, and then it was kind of like the brick and mortar did well. It's not one of those like cover-up stories like where, oh, where did it go? It was better for you to be a little bit more confined, right? So how does it work now where people can see your stuff?
So what I realized with the brick and mortar store, as much as I loved it, and it was amazing to get to connect face to face with customers and just so many amazing people that I met, I needed that time as an artist. I am such an introvert. I needed to hole up, and it almost took away from what I needed to do in private to create, and that product is what started it all. And so now, like you said, I am back in my home. I'm holed up with my, you know, my cup of tea in my office, and I'm loving it to be able to create in that way, and still put my art out there in the world. Still work with some amazing companies as far as licensing and everything, and I love it. That's what was best for me.
You love it. Yeah, right. That's what was best for you. I remember coming in, just a quick story, and wanting to see the brick and mortar so badly, and you were down, there was a rope, and you were downstairs, and I remember thinking, there are about 15 other people in this store who want to see you. And you could tell it just became too much. You love to connect, but it's what needed to work for you. And I think that's so cool.
Absolutely.
So I think, tell everybody what you do. What can they find when they go onto your website?
Absolutely. So predominantly there are art prints on lilyandval.com. A lot of hand-lettered phrases, a lot of illustrations. I love to create cozy artwork that will uplift your spirits. Definitely a nod to nostalgia. There are a few products that I have kept and because I've developed and they mean so much to me. The Keepsake Kitchen Diary is one of those products, and this is a recipe keeper combined with a memory journaling page where you can tell the story of the recipe.
I bought it. I bought it from my mother-in-law. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, this was one of those things that I made it because I wanted to own it. So that's one of the core products. But of late, I've even started dabbling in more of a fine art space. I picked up soft pastels, and I've been doing soft pastel landscapes, just as special original fine art pieces. So I guess I'm definitely a multi-passionate artist, creative, but those are pretty much the big things right now that I'm doing.
You have to just go look to understand, because like the sunflower is like, she does it, it's justice. Tell everybody why Lily and Val, because people just assume like your name is Lily or that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's just me. I do all of the artwork. Lily is a nod to my mom. We both share a love of flowers, and so that's just kind of a little nod to her.
Yeah,
I did not know that part. All right, so once again, where does everybody find you online?
Yeah, lilyandval.com is my website, and on Instagram, Lily and Val has an Instagram. I also have a personal Instagram, Valerie McKeon. That's definitely more of my creative experiments and just kind of, what I'm working on and things.
I love that. That's awesome. Well, thank you so much. We have to stay in touch because I know what you're saying now. We have a project that maybe we could work together on. I didn't realize what you meant, but I was like, I bought it. He meant something else. So we'll have to stay in touch, and would love to know anytime you have something, a new pattern, a new thought that you want to come on, like let's talk about it, because you've really done some unique things that people need to know more about. So before we let you go, the question of the day, you heard us, it's our Paige's birthday tomorrow. So what is your unique family sort of thing that you do for birthdays?
So I am not a great cook, despite the recipe keeper, but I love to do tables. Like, I'm really, of course, aesthetic. You know, I really like to make a nice table and do like the pretty dishes and a centerpice and all of that stuff. So, yeah, I'll make it pretty. Or a charcuterie. That's another one.
Oh my God, I'm jealous. So the next time you have a birthday party, you need to post it so I can. I'm sure you have, and I've just not noticed. But that's super cool. Thank you so much.
Thank
it was
you
so
so
good
much.
to see you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, not Lily, it's Val.
Val.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, so here's some more music from Byron Nash.
But I'm reading a book, and so maybe it's something. I'll email you, because maybe it's something we could combine, and see what it is. I'm sorry for your loss. Oh no, it's good to see you. Thank you so much. Yeah, for sure. We just had to do that quick. Like, I literally sort of stalked for a while because I love her stuff. Like. The Kitchen Keeper, I bought it for my mother-in-law. I think I bought it for somebody else, and I bought my niece's journals a couple times for Christmas gifts.
Right?
Yeah.
You'll have to
and
put
her
me in the right place
calendars.
with something for
You'll
Hannah.
love it. Yeah, for sure.
All right.
Eric, we didn't get our selfie. We have to do that too.
We will do that
Okay.
at the end.
All right.
We'll do that.
He's the reporter, so he's getting bossy. Did you see that? He was like, "We'll do it. We're getting that selfie." Eric Heyl. I'm so happy to have him on, because I love when I can reconnect with people I worked with at the Tribune Review, where he was for quite some time, but you know him better at The Patch, right?
I do.
Do you know him at The Patch?
and
Well, you actually didn't know each other.
We did. I feel like we've known each other somehow in the past, because many years ago, I'm not really a writer, but they had hired me to kind of write some things to report on, like local little stories, because I loved the idea of The Patch, that when it was.
Well, a lot of people would say I'm not much of a writer either, so.
No.
So good.
That is not
But
true.
the funny thing is, Eric, is that it seems like you're that fish that we couldn't control out in the ocean. We had you hooked, and like zzz, we never could reel you in for one of the podcast episodes, and we
because you're a
finally
busy
got you.
guy. Yeah.
Yeah, well, and then the whole pandemic thing was kind of inconvenient as well.
A little bit.
A little bit. So,
Yeah.
But it's great to finally be on, and again, thank you for having me.
Oh my God, are you kidding? We're glad to have you. So talk to us a little bit about journalism. Has always been your thing.
Right.
Forever and ever. Talk us through a little bit of your career so people can be more familiar with you.
Absolutely. Well, I'm a local guy. Grew up on the Mount. went to school at Duquesne, obtained a journalism degree, and drank a lot of beer.
Yeah.
After that, I started in community journalism with Gateway Publications at the time. And I moved.
I think everyone did, right? Wasn't
yes,
that like what you have?
That's a rite of passage. That was like, kind of like earning your master's degree in journalism.
Yes.
And I eventually went to the Valley News Dispatch for a while. When the Trib started a Pittsburgh edition, that intrigued me, so I applied for a job there. They hired me. I was a reporter there for about 6 years, and then I had various positions after that, columnist, editor, that type of thing. And then, the Pittsburgh Trib, unfortunately, went Titanic. So it was time to do some new things, and thankfully, Patch was intrigued in perhaps me attempting to relaunch the Pittsburgh sites about 5 years ago. And, it's been a really good ride here. We're doing 15 local websites in the Pittsburgh area. And, we give you the local news, and but it's a lot different from what typical newspapers do in terms of Patch is well, traditional newspapers gave you the news, told you what you needed to know. Whereas at Patch, we'll give you some of that, sure, but it's also a community engagement platform. We encourage people to post their own items, their own things, and it's amazing the amount of local story tips that you can get. Like, an example, in Ross, say, Stu posts something to the effect of, anyone see my alligator? He got out of the bathtub again. And, and then a few minutes later, somebody will post, he's at the bus stop now. And then Stu will post, don't let him get downtown.
Right.
So
thanks, Sue.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So again, that's obviously a story I would pick up on.
Right.
So and that's the way news operates these days. It's a hyper local platform. Focuses on the community engagement. And, people can call or email me anytime for any of the sites, and, I'll listen to what they have to say, and if they have a missing alligator, hey, I'm on that story.
So if you have an alligator that's missing, he's your guy. That's basically what I got.
I think my observation is, and hopefully this comes across as a compliment, in that the Patch is different than these neighborhood apps, because the neighborhood apps are like scuttlebutt, whatever. Whereas it's community driven in a very interesting and detailed way, where I'm finding out about the baseball coach, or I'm finding out about, something that's happening in my hyper community. So it's not scuttlebutt, it's news for that.
That is definitely a news site, but again, it's not driven top down, it's driven from bottom up.
Yeah.
And so that's the way I think 21st century journalism is going to continue to be. And to be a participant in that at this advanced age is pretty fun.
That is such a good point, Eric. Like, it's more of an epiphany, because you're right. You're taught that you're the person, you're the watchdog, you're the one who's supposed to say, this is what's happening. But we don't live in a society anymore where we want one person to dictate what that is. And it is communal, right? It is supposed to be community-driven.
And ultimately, you want to know when your street is going to be paved.
Yes.
What's going on with your school district? Do they have a day off, or are they on computer learning? Just because of the pandemic, or some sort of threat, which affects a lot of schools these days, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So, but ultimately, news is relevant if it affects you personally.
Right.
So, and the more you can translate that message to people, the more informed they are about the news that they need.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you actually just kind of completely wiped out my question.
Thanks, Eric. It was good talking to you.
Because I wanted your thoughts on, tell us your thoughts on whatever journalism is today, right? Because there's a wide definition. It's just not reporters reporting. But I think you might have already answered the question, wouldn't you say?
Well, I can be repetitive. That's fine. Right?
I mean, journalism at this point,
it changed.
They give awards now for podcasts, and there's so many different types of outlets. So it's a wider landscape than you ever learned about in college.
Well, you have the 24-hour news cycle.
Yes.
And so that you have to feed that beast. You also have certain networks that maybe focus more on opinion than actual fact. That fills a niche, but it's not news necessarily, especially since a lot of it's inaccurate most of the time. Not referring to any specific network.
Yeah, right.
But again, there are multiple platforms in which to convey your message, and I think what is great about Patch is that it conveys that message with so much community engagement and input that again it's like we're all almost one big family sharing the news, as opposed to again me telling you what you need to know.
Well, and as we talked to Val about the evolution of things, right? So we look at it back when we started on what it looked like. And, we sit on the PMP board now, which is all different types of journalists, whether it's the Post-Gazette, whether it's Next Pittsburgh. We're the only, we're not the only podcast anymore, but it's Point Park's initiative to kind of have all the news outlets talking. And I can sense that there's a lot of people who appreciate new journalism, right? The blog posts, the social media aspect, the podcasts. There are some old school journalists who are like, this is not what this was, and I don't know that they like the what's happening. But you're right, as long as you're conveying the truth.
Well, you have to adapt or die, essentially, and who uses an anvil anymore?
Right. Right.
Wile E.
It's
Coyote.
so true. It's so true. Yeah. But it's, as I say that, I'm still one of those people who, I'll be 46. I hate that there's not a whole, you don't hold a newspaper anymore, or at least every day. That concept is gone. I've heard people say, oh, it'll come back just like everything else. Maybe it will, maybe it won't, but you're right. I think it's that adaptability.
I believe you're correct in that, and again, although it has changed, your hands don't get dirty anymore.
That's a true story, yeah. They just get tired from answering and checking it all out on your phone.
So
Right?
now that you've adopted new journalism, you've adopted, what is your favorite social media feed to consume?
Good question.
Actually, my day usually starts. Good question, by the way.
Yes.
My day usually starts with checking the weather forecast because people are extremely interested in that. And if there's a chance of severe storms, or in the wintertime, if there's a chance of some significant snow or ice accumulation, people want to know about that.
Right.
So the day usually starts with that. Then after that, I have a fairly sophisticated website that I'm allowed to subscribe to, thanks to Patch, that actually tells me what stories are out there that people seem to be interested in. And from that, I'll usually try to get something out early in the morning, when people are, trying to get their kids off to school, but still, on the computer for a few minutes and things of that nature. I definitely use CNN, the New York Times, those type of sites, but primarily local sites. KDKA, PXI, and Patch is affiliated with KDKA.
Right, right.
The first thing I do.
That's awesome.
I still use Twitter. I look
he's
at
a
Twitter
Twitter
for
guy.
traffic and weather. It's crazy. It's just so crazy.
The problem with Twitter is that the feed goes so fast that you end up missing everything.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
It's a true story. That is a true story.
Yeah.
In your free time, so you're this, renowned, you went from one type of journalism to another, you're accepting the new ways. What are you doing on your downtime?
My downtime, I have a couple of daughters in college, so we try to visit with them as much as possible, but I also, my hobby is actually refinishing old furniture.
How about that? Yeah.
You heard it here.
You heard it here, yeah. What was your favorite piece to how do you get into something like that?
My wife watches Flea Market Flip.
Oh my God, are you serious? That's how.
I'm serious, yes.
I love that show.
Yeah.
So you watched it and thought, oh, I could try this.
No, she watched it and thought I could try it.
Oh, she created your hobby.
No, essentially, but it's very relaxing. When the weather is warm, I go out on the porch and I'll sand something down and then I'll restain it. And refinish it, and then we'll either keep it ourselves or we'll donate it.
I love it.
Yeah.
Is it relaxing?
Oh, it's very, very
What's the
relaxing.
oldest piece you've found?
I'm sorry?
The oldest piece, do you think?
I don't know, probably something that dates back to Lincoln, but they don't the stuff that we pick up at the flea markets and things, they generally don't say how old it is. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Because it kind of they want to give you the best price. So,
yeah. So. What has been your favorite though, or something that you were like, oh, I think I'm going to sell this, but I think I'll keep it after all?
Well, I've done some chest of drawers, and some of them have turned out okay. First one was not. The first one I over lacquered, and so it doesn't really open now. So that's where I keep.
It's just a look at it piece.
That's where I keep all the bills now.
That's part
Very
of
smart.
That's part of Val's thing of just learning as you go, right?
Yeah,
and
learn as you go.
You
That's
leave
it.
it there as you're like, okay, I'm not going to do that anymore.
That's it.
That is so cool.
What, and speaking of that, what type of advice do you give your daughters? I mean, I'm friends with you personally, so I see you talking about them. What's the advice that you give them for the point of life you're in now?
Try to do something, consistent that you enjoy. Try to make a decent living at it, but always remember to pursue your passion.
Such a good point, yeah. That's good. Yeah, because when you're younger and you're having children, you don't think about each stage how different it is. You wish the beginning away, and then you go, why did I wish it away? And then when they're older, you think, am I explaining the right things? Like, you just never see yourself having to be the parent.
It never, that never really was a thing with me, just because, when I was coaching their soccer teams as they were younger girls, I was asked on more than one occasion by other parents, how do you afford the time and everything to do that? And the answer was very simple to me. You don't get these years back.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. How about that? Deep thoughts with
Eric,
Kyle.
it's been fun. I mean, we knew it was going to be fun.
We
but
should
it
have
just
you.
took,
There's a few people we say this to, but why wouldn't we have you come on quarterly or every couple months to talk about some of your favorite stories through the patch?
I'm certainly willing to do that.
There you go. Awesome. You heard it here.
Yeah.
Can't back out.
Right.
You got it.
All right, awesome. So you want to do the question of the day?
Question of the day so far is that, again, our intern Paige, it's her birthday tomorrow. So
it's
she
her
put
birthday.
The questions, she put her questions together, and we're just saying, what are your birthday traditions? What's the
thing
all,
your family
every
does?
Birthday this happens?
I try to take it off, generally, and then just my birthday is in July, so usually it involves some sort of water park activity.
Okay.
Yeah.
Paige,
I wish
Eric
my birthday
is
was
taking
in
you to a water park this afternoon.
I wish my birthday was in July. Well, look outside.
Which is right
Actually,
outside.
we just have to go right out the door.
Yeah,
right?
just go right out the door.
Yeah.
Eric, where does everybody find you so that they know how they can see the different things that you're doing?
The easiest way to do this, to find the patch that is closest to you, go to patch.com,
right,
and then just type in your zip code, and it'll refer you exactly to the appropriate
site.
patch.
Mm-hmm.
And we have an easy way, again, to subscribe, where you'll get you'll get updates on the news that's important to your community, and you'll get daily alerts in the morning as to, perhaps the top 5 stories of the day. And we'll deliver it right to your inbox.
How about that?
Nice.
15229. Hit me with Ross Township. There's so much crap going on right now. I don't even want to talk about it.
Actually, the North Hills patch is very widely read.
Yes. Oh, yeah. And we get criticized as school board members often, so that's always good. But no, Eric, I'm just kidding. It's always a pleasure. Thank you so much. We're going to hold you to it. We'd love to have you back again. And
thank you so much.
Yeah,
awesome.
we really appreciate it. It was
we
great.
need our selfie.
All right. So as we do a selfie, we'll get the other 2 guests.
Get behind us. Yeah, wherever you want to sit. Or Eric, take one of the chairs so you can sit.
Actually, Eric, you could probably, if they sit in these 2, you could probably sit in that one and not be in the shot if you want.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah, we'll put them here.
Put them here. Byron, sit by me. Yeah. Can you see Byron okay? Okay. And then Cody will get this one.
Check.
Yours good? Look at
All
us.
right.
Look at us figuring things out like
Cody?
big boys and girls.
Cody might have the coolest glasses on.
Ever.
I've said this to
Yeah, they
other
look great.
people before,
Ever.
but they're really cool.
Do you have glass envy?
Gino? Yeah, I
Gino
glasses
from
envy.
Emilio from Izazu Salon has
Oh.
the coolest white,
All
he
white
has,
frames.
White hair,
Do you
so
have
the
enough-
white frames look fabulous.
Yeah.
But that's good.
Yeah.
John's
Really?
checking it out, bro.
Oh, well, I'm gonna upgrade his game.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
saying.
All right, it's like old home week for me. We've actually never had the pleasure of interviewing Cody, but we obviously this is like it's Byron. Like it's
Hi.
hey. Byron is like part of the YaJagoff podcast. We're so happy because Byron has been one of obviously our favorite musical guests, but one of our favorite guests for the last 4 or 5 years now. We have so many different
been a
like how
while.
we met stories, and now we're lucky because we see each other a lot, and we'll talk about that. But I'm so glad to have you both because we're going to talk about Deutschtown. Now, Cody did not build it. We were saying maybe Cody built Deutschtown. But he
Not
built
the town.
festival. So talk to us a little bit about what we can expect this year at the Deutschtown Festival.
And when is it?
Sure. So this year the festival is going to be July 22nd through the 24th. We are going to have a kickoff party on July 21st
Okay.
at the Priory Hotel. Details are still kind of up in the air on exactly what we're going to do with that, but we're going to have a giant cake from Prancel's Bakery this year.
Oh my God.
They're doing a 1-ton cake for us for our 10-year anniversary. And
Is it 10 years?
it is.
Wow. I didn't realize that.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
So that was 1 ton. So 2,000 pounds of cake.
Jeez.
What that's even going to look like, I don't know. But we'll likely have Mayor Gainey there and some ceremony, and then we'll open it up to the public, and everyone can eat cake. We'll have, I believe, an artist auction there and some great musicians. I'm sure Byron will be there in some capacity. And
I like being places.
Right.
but that'll kick it all off, and then Friday, Saturday, and we'll have a full day Sunday this year.
Oh, wow.
In past years, we
Right.
just had the gospel brunch.
Yes.
We're going to add our Foreland Street stage, and we'll be serving up some beer. I think Pittsburghers drink beer on Sundays here.
Oh, yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
They drink beer every day.
Couple of them. That's all. Yeah.
Yeah, just a few.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're currently at about 400 bands for this year, and I don't know. We may stretch that
That's
a little further.
man. Get out.
That
So-
is crazy.
That's a lot of scheduling.
Yes. And talk about that. So for someone who hasn't attended, which sounds crazy because it's at 10 years, we have gone, I mean, how many?
Yeah, we've roamed around.
Yeah. I've gone without you. I don't know if you've gone without me, but
I
we've-
have. I'll
okay.
admit that right
oh,
now.
okay.
I
Wow.
apologize.
Anyway,
Friends.
for somebody who hasn't been there, what can they expect, and where is it, so that they sort of get a feel?
Sure. So, so Deutschtown is one little neighborhood in the north side, but we've even from the early years expanded beyond the Deutschtown footprint. So the festival actually is throughout most of the flats of the north side. So we have stages. It'll probably be close to about 50 stages.
Okay.
Throughout all of north side. So right now we're in Federal Galley. That may be one of our stages here. We had one in 2019 here. We have 3 different stages in our park right adjacent to here in the north side, Allegheny Commons Park. So family-friendly stages there. There'll be tons of stuff for kids, food trucks, bounce houses, all the like.
How many did you have when you first started?
So the first year we tried small. We were going to start with, I think, 12 bands and
Oh my
4
gosh.
stages, but we ended up with 9 stages and 47 bands that first year.
Wow.
There's always been a lot of buy-in to the idea, and even that first year, we found that people just wanted to be involved. I think
Yes.
for a long time, Northside had been either overlooked or just underserved as far as activities like that. When I was a kid, I was just telling Byron before this that there was stuff here. We're right here in what used to be Allegheny Center.
Right.
It's Nova
Right.
Place. But I remember coming down and playing in the fountain there, and going to the Buell, and there was the science. What was the Science
Yes,
Center
right,
back then? Children's Museum now.
For you youngsters.
Yes. And the Children's Museum is fantastic.
Yeah.
But they had chicks back then, little baby chickens, and
Yeah.
the lasers and the laser shows, and
Yep.
the giant pendulum that is elsewhere now. But there was a lot of stuff for when I was a child. And they had a giant children's festival, and I remember coming down and pushing this giant ball, and I just thought it was really cool. And the arts festival, always growing up with that. And when I moved to the north side, a lot of that was not really happening here.
Right.
And I wanted to do something for our neighborhood, for our place, and we found that there was a lot of buy-in.
I love hearing that because I'm from the north side as well, and I felt like that when I moved, thinking like, how can I help, because it is overlooked. It felt like so many different parts of the city were elevating, and now looking at it, I think it just takes time to sort of shine the light on each neighborhood and kind of say like, oh well, here's look at East Liberty now, and
Right.
Look at Bloomfield, or whatever. But I love what you're doing because people do come into the north side even more because of it.
Right, indeed. And Northside has an amazing history. Like I myself, I went to North Catholic, and I wasn't from the North Side. But, Northside gets lumped into one big
Yes.
homogenous
Yes.
place. And it's, 14 different neighborhoods. And, it took me coming in as an outsider to understand, like, the nuance of that. And it's a big place with a bunch of different identities.
Yeah.
And it's its own city. It was Allegheny City, like where we're sitting was the center of that city at one point. And all roads led to here. I think it's starting to come back that way.
I agree.
And it's great over here.
I love
We've
it.
got a lot of stuff.
Before we go to Byron, because Byron Nash is here with us, and because no big show goes off in Pittsburgh unless it has Byron Nash attached to it.
Indeed.
We know that. But
I don't know if that's true, but all right, I'll take it.
I'm totally intrigued by the fact that you're going to have 400 or more bands, but what does that mean your year looks like? How many band videos and audio clips are you reviewing before you get it down to?
You're
not
asking
400?
really good questions. Like, he's not even looking at my script. That's how on he is today. Like, he is on. Get it,
Nice.
John.
Well, I have an amazing team, and so I myself am not looking at too many of those, thankfully. Hugh Twyman of Hugh Shows, he's our band curator. He looks at the lion's share of most of that. And to be honest, he knows a lot of the bands
okay.
already here in
Gotcha.
Pittsburgh. With his blog and all his different stuff he's been doing over the last 15 years in the local music scene. He's quite dialed in. And then we also have gotten submissions through Reverb Nation over the last couple years. And I have a coworker that I work with, Jesse Deskitner, who has really dove in on those. And I mean, that's a couple thousand submissions
That's
there.
crazy. And that's what happens, right? They submit to be.
Wow.
Okay.
Correct.
Yeah, right.
Correct.
Yeah, did you know that?
So
No.
I don't envy either one of their jobs.
Yeah, right. Right.
Because that is not my skill set
yeah,
at all.
right. Right.
But like I said, I've been able to, surround myself with great people, and they've been fantastic. We also have been dealing with a number of different curators this year on specific stages. So, we've got Paradise Gray, who's going to be hosting our Skyline stage this year. He's the founder of one of the founders of One Hood here.
Yeah.
He's also the head curator of the Universal Hip Hop Museum up in the Bronx. And he had the club in New York back in the 80s, the Latin Quarter.
Okay.
Very storied, founder of hip hop, really.
Okay.
One of the
Wow.
of the golden era.
Yeah,
of
right.
hip hop, and he lives right here in Deutschtown on East Ohio Street.
How about that?
And
Would it impress you to know that I was at a little get together last night, and I was crowned the person who knew all the words to Young MC's. Now I'm drawing a blank. Okay, Smarty, go to a party.
Oh my
Girl.
God.
Bust a move. You're around
Get it,
someone who also knows those lyrics.
Nice.
Oh, we will have a competition, Cody.
That's going to be the next show. I can see
I
it.
think I know.
I'm not spitting them on this mic, though. Not happening.
But anyway, so that's how that kind of stuff resonates, right? Like you said, I was like, oh, I might not know. What didn't I know? Oh my God, I'm drawing a blank.
I know someone who
was
can
it?
play Bismarck. He's
Bismarcky!
just a friend
Oh
on
my God.
accordion. So
Oh, that's pretty impressive.
Oh my
Well,
God.
they challenged me to know Bismarcky's words, and I was like, I know the refrain. That's about it, but I can
Yeah.
get you some Young M's.
I love that.
Thanks, Byron.
So Byron, let's use that to dovetail into, there's so many gaps in, I know it's a cheap segue right now, there's so many gaps in music, at this point, but you and Rachel's dad, Johnny Angel, Jack Hunt,
Do it,
are
John.
doing,
Woo! We usually do that.
you're doing a YouTube series called Bridging the Gap
Yeah.
with Johnny Angel and Byron Nash. And this is exactly what we're talking about. Like, the Deutschtown Music Festival puts all of this out into play, but you guys are helping pull everybody together in a almost like a business scientific way. Like, we know that one of these episodes had Melvin Steele on there who wrote songs for the Spinners. In the meantime, the younger audience that you're aware of from places like the Deutschtown Music, you're introducing them to Jack, and we're like, wow, like everybody's all learning. It's like a vicious cycle of learning. So talk about the Bridging the Gap.
I mean, for me, it's really exciting because I'm already a music nerd, so now I have a platform to be more nerdy about it, and someone who's
And an
really
equal
into.
nerd
And
to my dad.
yeah, it's just like we're kind of kindred spirits in that way. So I like the idea of taking something that's old, and when someone's like, back in the day, and I'm like, no, that really relates to now,
Yes.
and sort of connecting that. And I like sharing, like, what are you listening to? This is what I'm listening to, and figuring out that we all kind of like the same things in some format. And all of the lessons kind of are the same.
Right.
It might be a different era. It might be different technology. Maybe we're not talking about cassettes and 8-tracks, but we're talking about MP3s, and we're talking about becoming an entrepreneur with your music and developing skills. And I just like having all of that connected. So.
Yeah. What do you think? We've been talking about this. Gosh, 7 months now? Like, wasn't it like before the holiday we were talking about it? What do you think you saw initially to where it is now? Because as we said, like we're halfway through the episodes.
Yeah.
We plan on going through the rest of the year. What's the biggest change for you, or the biggest difference?
I think it was just getting comfortable with like filming. Like, I love the concepts, but like as you do one thing, you can always figure out how to tweak it. So I like how it's been growing so quickly. I mean, to go from that original idea of not knowing what we were going to do, and then doing the first episode and be like, I still don't know what we're going to do.
Yeah.
To now I feel like we have a nice rhythm and like everyone's comfortable, and watching Jack kind of come out of his shell too, to be he's not performing, so this is sort of a different stage for him, and
Right.
I kind of enjoyed watching that development and growth with him too.
That's an awesome point.
Yeah, it's been fun to watch the whole thing develop, the concept, because as we said with Val, who was here, what she started out with Lily and Val earlier is not what it is today.
Yeah.
So I would say that the music festival is not the same, and just in 4 short
Even in the small,
episodes,
yeah.
4 short episodes, Bridging the Gap has developed into this thing that's super cool to sit and watch. It's 20 minutes, and then it always ends with a jam session, which is super cool because you don't know what's coming up. You don't know what song, and it's not like you have to sit and listen to an entire song, but you can see
It's a
everybody
snippet,
just
yeah.
enjoying their piece of it.
I think it takes it back to the purity of just like loving music for what
Yes.
it is.
Yes.
It's like, all right, well, we don't know how this is going to sound. Let's hit record and go for it. And that's sort of the essence of what I love about music is like collaboration and community. Like I play solo, but I have way more fun playing with other people. And this is sort of another way to do that. So
That was a good segue.
know.
So one of our guests that we've had out already
Yeah.
is your sort of like duo, right?
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about that.
I met Jaquia May. Actually, I met her many years ago. She told me this. I didn't know this.
Sounds like you.
Yeah, Formula 412, my old band.
Oh,
we had
yeah.
a release party. She was a fan. Someone bought her a ticket for her 21st birthday. She came to the show. After the show, she's like, "Will you sign my CD?" I didn't know this. Sign her CD. Fast forward to last summer. I'm playing a solo gig. I'm doing Ain't No Sunshine. She starts singing, which was weird because she's like in the audience singing, like, and stood up, and I was like, come on up.
Okay,
Normally artists would be kind of like, why are you jumping on my gig right now,
Yeah.
And we just had a
Back
chemistry right out the gate. Someone filmed a clip. They tagged me online. I hit her with a message like, hey, we should collaborate. Never thinking anything will come out of it. And then I started inviting her to shows. And then she told me, yeah, I met you many years ago. I was a fan of your band.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and then each show I would just say, hey.
I love
That's
it.
incredible.
So then I would be like, hey, why don't you come and do like 3 songs at the end of my solo set? And then we just kept getting booked more and more. And then by New Year's Eve, when we headlined first night, I'm like, why don't you just join the band and we just take over?
I love
Let's
it.
just go for it.
I'm smitten. I mean, having her on,
Yeah,
she was
hard.
amazing.
It was hard to sit behind the scenes and watch
Oh,
that
my
episode and
gosh.
think like, wait, why isn't that episode coming out tomorrow?
Yeah.
Because, like, it was so exciting. All right, so switching back to the music festival, for you as an artist, what's it like to be involved in something so crazy, and I mean good crazy, like,
Or how it's grown to be what
Yeah.
it is.
I mean, I've played it before, and, I've always loved music festivals anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
I like when you have a bunch of different styles
Yes.
happening all at once. Because then as a music fan, you can go catch 3 songs of a band
Right.
and get everything you need and then go catch more.
Yes.
And to know that you can do that with local artists all in like a weekend or so, that's like the next tier of like one, growing the community, supporting the scene. Like there's so many like layers to it. So like I love it as a fan, but then I really love it as a performer because I don't know who's out there. I don't know who's seeing me. And so I'm like, I don't care if I'm in the park. I don't care if I'm in a basement. I don't care if it's a big stage, small stage. I just want to play. And I think if you can keep it pure as an artist, festivals are really good for you, to be a part of.
I love it. No,
I'll be the girl in the audience whenever you do Bust a Move, and I'll sing it with
Nice.
you.
I don't know those words.
You have to buy
Yeah.
his
He's
like, she
CD
will.
and get
Yeah,
it
right.
signed.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes, I
There's
forgot.
a pre-story to it.
Excuse me, sir. Could you sign this? No.
Cody, when is the music festival again, and where can people find out more information, even as a sponsor?
Certainly. So it's July 22nd through the 24th. www.deutschtownmusicfestival.com is where they can go.
And we'll put the spelling in show notes.
And,
Don't worry.
yeah, of course. As far as sponsors, they can reach out to it's DeutschtownPGH at gmail.com.
And don't be a total jag-off yinzer and complain that you can't park on the north side on those days. We're already telling you 4 months ahead of time.
That's a good point.
Uber, Lyft, do something.
Lyft,
Where did we park the
public
last time? Do you remember? We were like,
we
we were like,
cheated.
oh,
But
it
here's
was
the
so
thing.
hot.
Don't complain about parking. Number one, there is going to be a pirate game both days. So you can take advantage of pirate parking. I don't know. Do people go to those games?
We've
Sorta.
told you so far ahead of time.
July 22nd. There'll probably be some parking available there.
Right.
But also, right where we're sitting, so the largest surface lots in the entire
Right.
Yeah,
city
that's a good
are right
point,
there
Cody.
at the
Yeah.
ballparks.
Right.
Yeah.
But right where we're sitting, at Federal Galley, we are on top of the largest garage in the city.
Right.
There's plenty of parking here.
Yeah.
So get creative. Come park.
Yeah.
It's
Don't be a
Carpool.
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 Yeah.
Don't drink and drive.
That's
Good
true.
point.
All
you
right.
guys, thanks so much. We have a question of the day. Where does everybody find you first?
ByronNashMusic.com.
And make sure you're checking out Bridging the Gap at our
Bridging the Gap.
YouTube channel. It's actually YaJagoff and Byron's YouTube channels. We're getting Johnny Angel his up. It's just taking some time.
Yes, a great North Sider, a great musician.
Thank you.
You know, get the history of the music and then come discover what's coming out.
Yeah, we need to collab.
And
Did you
check
talk
out
to
the
him
shop.
about that too?
Check out the shop.
Yeah, check out the museum for sure. For sure.
Ginsey stuff.
All right,
It's
question
amazing.
of the day, you guys. We were talking about birthdays. Our Paige's birthday is Easter Sunday.
Happy
so
birthday early.
do you guys have, like I said, for our family, our routine is no matter, my boys are 19, 15, and my daughter's 13. We still hang latex, like blow up balloons, no matter their age. They have to do it for me next month. Like, that's what we do.
Okay.
Right? What's your go-to thing for birthdays? Like, what's the thing your family always does? Do you guys have a tradition of some sort?
I don't know that
No?
know that we do.
There's not
you
like
know
a
what?
thing?
My stepmom, no matter whose birthday it is, she calls very early in the morning and sings you happy birthday.
That's cute.
Okay.
No matter who it is.
That's cute.
That's
I
sort
like
of
that.
a family thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about you, Cody?
Usually family dinner.
Yeah, nothing like go to the, okay. Yeah. All right. Do you have one?
Yeah. I mean, I always try to call my kids at 12:01. You know what
yeah.
I mean?
Nice.
That kind of thing.
He calls his granddaughter, who's 6 months old, on her day of birth, like, and says, "Happy birthday, Valentina." It's very
at
cute.
2:36 in the
Nice.
afternoon on the
2:36.
18th of every month.
Let's see if that keeps up.
Right.
Yeah.
I won't be able to in the future. All right. So
right,
we have
you
to
guys.
thank the
Thank
Federal
you.
Galley.
Thank you.
Well, thank you guys for being here.
Yeah.
And you're listening to Byron's songs, obviously, in between.
Exactly. Thank you to the Federal Gallery. Thank you to the Federal Galley for inviting us. And thank you to all of our guests, including Nick, including Chad, including Taylor, who helped coordinate it, including Paige, who's working kind of on her birthday. And thanks to Tracy, who put it all together on our end.
Thanks to Eric Heyl for being on. Thanks to Val McKean for coming on from Lily and Val. How much did you love that segment as well? Thanks to Byron Nash and to Cody Walters for being on. And make sure you are patroning local, especially a festival like Deutschtown.
And
Thanks
of course,
as always, Honda.
Rorick Honda is known for number one. Rorick Honda is known as number one for many reasons, but the Civic Passport and Odyssey won best for residual value in 2022. Everyone has their Honda preference, so make time for a Rorick Honda rep to learn which ride best suits your journey.
As always, visit Rorick.com for all your vehicle needs. Have an
Thanks,
awesome next rest
guys.
of your day. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
See you guys.